Okay, Robbie, thanks for joining me. What a great comeback on Saturday, 2-0 down at half time. But what a comeback to make it and win 4-2.
Yeah, we're don't make it easy for ourselves, do we? First half, to be honest, we looked like a team that had been isolating for 2 weeks. we looked very rusty, very lethargic, very slow of thought. Um, I kind of knew that would be the case because the lads hadn't kicked the ball for 2 weeks. We had a very small training session on Thursday with a small group of players who could make it. So preparation in terms of getting a ball at your feet and getting your touch back, and even the lads fitness wise, that they've had to isolate at home for 2 weeks. It's not as if they can run about during that time either. So I was worried, and I knew Braintree would start well. I think I said to you before the game, we watched their game against Billericay, and they certainly play with intensity, and they deserved something from that Billericay game. They were the better team, and we knew they'd start fast, local derby, and I was hoping that the adrenaline of the local derby and local teams in the league to each other, I was hoping that adrenaline would be okay for us early on, and certainly weather the storm, and then create our opportunities later on in the game. And yeah, I was disappointed at half time. I think everybody was, and the players certainly were at half time as well, disappointed in themselves. And I've been asked a lot actually, and I think you asked me after the game when we passed in the car park. You said, "What did you say to them at half time?" And I think the biggest thing is I asked them the question: do they still believe they can win the game? And I knew the answer was going to be yes, because none of them were going to say no. But I really believed that they could still win the game. And then once I asked that question and got that response and that feeling from them, just to make a couple of adjustments to us, really. Get Danny Imray further forward, get Tom Raitt out on the left, crossing the ball like he did for Charlie's disallowed goal in the first half, and give us a bit more impetus. And I have to say, bringing Mickey Spillane on made a huge difference to us at the back. Huge difference. I wanted to start him. I wanted to start Mickey. In fact, the team that started the second half was the team that I wanted to start. But Mickey felt after the little bit of ball work we did on Thursday, he didn't feel like he was a bit niggly, and he didn't feel like he was quite ready to play 90 minutes. So I thank him for that, actually. Thank him for his honesty. But I did pull him after probably about 25 minutes of the first half and said, "You're going to have to play a large chunk of this game for me, mate." And yeah, he knew he had to come on and do the job he did, and he did it superbly well. I mean, the whole game just calmed down when he was on the pitch for us, and he made everyone around him play better. So I'm really thankful to him.
And Danny Imray, him coming on, pushed Danny Imray further forward. I don't think he registered an assist, but he won 2 free kicks that resulted in goals and won the penalty as well. So
Yeah, we'll count them as assists for him, won't we? I mean, I've got to say, at half time as well, I asked them to become men because they looked like boys in that first half. And we've got a young team, a young learning team, developing team, and we have to stick with them. I'm a young learning manager, and what I can guarantee you from myself and from the players is that we will work our absolute hardest, and we will learn, and we will develop, and we will improve. And if I think back to the Bath game where we got ourselves in front 2-1, one of the most pleasing things from me from Saturday is when we got in front by that one goal, 3-2, we then scored another because we recognised that getting another would just maybe put the game out of sight and make Braintree mentally kind of give up. And then when we got that extra goal, we were really good at seeing the game out. Really, really good at seeing the game out. We didn't overcommit and leave spaces. We stayed in shapes, kept our structure, and allowed the players at the top to keep the ball up there for us, work hard. And I don't usually like to single people out, but Charlie Sheringham was amazing for us. Both halves, really. Both halves, he was a man and he was trying to lead, and he did lead. And Danny Imray is a boy, but he was certainly a man the whole game as well. And when you've got people like that in your team, you hope that they become infectious to the rest of them. And those three, Mickey, Danny, and Charlie. And I have to say, I thought Cameron stood up. You know, Cameron's such a versatile player. He's been asked to do lots of different jobs for us because we've had to utilise him in a number of different positions because of the thin squad, because of the COVID, because of injuries, and he's been fantastic. And they have to become infectious and rub off on all the other lads now. They kind of turned from boys into men on Saturday.
Yeah, you mentioned Charlie Sheringham. We signed Dylan Asonganya up for another month. All the fans then replied, "Can we get Charlie Sheringham to sign for a bit longer? 4 goals in 4 games."
Yeah, he's been great, and we hope so. We know we'd like him to stay. We know that he wants to stay. Now it's just a matter of whether Dartford will allow us to have him, and we'll certainly be trying all we can. And I'll ask the chairman and the board to try and help me keep him.
Okay. And all 4 goals on Saturday were from set pieces. I don't know if that's pleasing that it was good work on the training ground that we're doing from set pieces, or whether you'd like a bit more from open play.
Yeah, they're so important, you know. They're so important, especially in what I call winter football, where the pitches aren't great. And perhaps I've been a bit naive as a manager in terms of the style of football that I'd like us to play and my ideal style of football. Perhaps I've been a little bit naive, especially as it's got to the winter months and the pitches are what they are at this level. And set pieces are a big part of this level of football. They're a big part of Premier League football. Lots of games are decided on set pieces, so we do work on them. I believe we've got a really, really good structure to our set pieces. I'm really disappointed with the one we conceded, because I've watched it back many a times and I can pick 3 or 4 people not quite doing their jobs correctly. But attacking wise, a big part of it is having desire and running towards the goal. Run to goal, and you'll be surprised how many times, if you run to goal, even if the first header might not necessarily be yours, keep running to goal, because you know Charlie's goal sets us off. It's a great run across the near post from Tom Ray, perfectly timed. He didn't get in there too early. Perfectly timed run, flick on, and Charlie wasn't running away from goal. He was running to goal, and it hits him and goes in. And Cameron James's is the same. Great deliveries, by the way. Adam Morgan and Callum Harrison's deliveries are fantastic, and without those, the rest doesn't matter. So they're really, really important set pieces, especially at this level, especially in the winter, and we work on them, and we've got to do better at keeping them out of our net. But we'll certainly look at a real threat from them going forward.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't get any easier than next Saturday, when we've got the league leaders, St Albans. Did you feel a bit of extra pressure to try and get the win against the bottom side, knowing that we were going to play the top team in the next game?
No, to be honest, at the time I didn't even think about St Albans, because there was enough pressure on that game anyway. Home to Braintree, local derby, what's at stake, the point. You couldn't get much more pressure than that. And this Saturday, it's another game against 11 players. I personally don't think St Albans are any better than us, but they've got results, and they've picked up results, and we can certainly go there and win. It's whether we know how to, and if we show that same desire we did in the second half, and all stand up and be counted as men, then we'll have a good chance.
Okay, Robbie. Great result Saturday. Let's hope we can keep it going in the upcoming matches.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.